I thought I'd do a bit of fairy culture this morning. Um, I just found in my Google News, as my Google News comes up in the morning, that bee eaters have been spotted in Yarko. I'll just show you, just for continuity, in case you see this. And you see anything? No, not at all. Nothing. Bee birds spotted in Yarko. I know this is so amazing because the fairy master, drew them in Sketchy June the other day. I'll show you this. They're amazing, aren't they? I didn't know I didn't know what they were, so I thought, well, that's interesting. They're so cute. I drew them in Sketchy June, which is, I'd say they're the same thing. The second Sketchy June, the 2nd of June, out of the fairy book. See, it's close enough, isn't it, to be eaters, I think. Can you see them? Don't judge my drawing. Yarko's full of fairies, it really is. It's the most magical place in the world. It's got a great beach. A lot of people don't like it. Like, my son thinks it's awful. He thinks everything's awful though, unless it's got like a Nike badge on it. I went to Yark last year. I had to go and buy some fidget spinners. I needed some desperately. I thought, you know what, I'll get fidget spinners, no problem. Yarko. So I hopped on the bus, and I went and got 3. There were 50p each, so I stocked up on fidget spinners. Literally, you'll find everything you ever need in Yarko, but you didn't even know you needed. Beach is amazing, and it's just truly great place. I do sometimes think you can whiz around it with like a pressure washer. Some of the architecture is amazing. I think it's really beautiful. Down my end anyway. But what I was leading into is this Black Beauty. Now, I'm pretty sure I bought this from a little bookshop a couple of years ago because I wanted to read it. I'm fairly sure I had this copy, not this actual book, when I was a child. It just looks, you know how things trigger memories. I'm fairly certain I had this copy. I had a couple of copies of Black Beauty. I was a girl, and I was horse mad, really. It's funny because it was I paid £1.95 for it, but somebody else paid 30p. Originally, it was 2 and 6. I love all that. But when I started reading this, if I can find it, when was this first published? In 1877, published in Puffin Story Houses, 1954. So I think this was published in 1954. How Black Beauty came to be written. Their list of illustrations. Black Beauty was Anna Sewell's only book, written in the last 7 years of her life when she was over 50. It is a small book to have taken so long to write, but she was crippled by sickness and for much of the time was gravely and increasingly ill, requiring almost complete quiet and finding even reading and talking beyond her strength. She died a few months after it was published, too soon to know of its success, and with no notion that it would have so long a life. It has been said to be the 6th bestseller in the English language. Anna was of Quaker parentage, born in Yarmouth on the 30th of March 1820. The house still stands and bears a plaque recording the fact. When she was 2, the family left Norfolk for financial reasons and went to live at 12 Park Road, Dalston, where her brother Philip was born. They had to live very simply, for Mr. Sewell was not a very good businessman. He had taken a little job in Bishopsgate, but that failed. Next, he travelled for a lace factory in Nottingham, which was hard work, taking him away from home at 8 months. 8 in the morning, 6 days a week, and keeping away until 8 at night. The need for money to buy books for the educating of the children made Mrs. Sewell try her hand at writing, and she produced a little book in words of one syllable called Walks with Mama, which sold for £3 and felt herself well paid. Mrs. Sewell had a great yearning for the country and felt that it was impossible to bring up a little girl in the black houses amid dirty streets with no flowers to gather and no birds singing. Their father used to bring them back from his travels, now a flower, now a pebble or a shell, and the children were encouraged to look about them and make little collections, from which time to time they took to the British Museum, where they found out all they could about them. It was ridiculous, commented their mother, the number of subjects in which they first took steps. One year she'd been saving up penny by penny to take the family to the country for holiday. When she read in the papers of the potato famine in Ireland, with rather a fainting heart, she wrote in fragments of an autobiography, I pictured to them the sufferings of the Irish and how much money was wanted to buy food. I told them I had no money to spare except what I had laid by for our trip. Would they be willing to give some of that up and send the money to the Irish people? They both said at once they would. I told them to think about it during the day, and if at night they were of the same mind, the money should be sent. The children remained of the same mind, and the money was sent. Then, by one of those happy chances that sometimes do occur in this life, their uncle, knowing nothing of the sacrifice they'd made, wrote inviting them to take a long holiday by the sea at his expense. This goes on quite a long time, but what I did read in this, when the book was finished, finding a publisher for it proved difficult, and it was refused by several firms before Messrs. Jarrold, the Norwich printers, agreed to take it. Like Little Women, The Wind in the Willows, and many another now famous books, it crept upon the world modestly, with no one to prophesy the fame or long life of it. It was published on 24th of November 1877, and the orders from London's bookshop amounted to barely 100 copies between them. In 1935, the firm of Jarrold, writing of the author's niece, said, we might fairly state that the world sales have not been less than 20 million, but it is impossible to give an exact figure. The book sold slowly at first. There were people everywhere who loved horses and found it a simple, genuine reflection of their own feelings and of how they would like their own children to think of horses. The faith of Black Beauty was no uncommon one at the time. The book was too soon being... I can't be bothered anymore. I used to work for Jarrold, so I found that quite interesting. Well, it is always interesting, isn't it? Jarrold's printers, but I worked in software training department. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, again, going back to the 4 white socks that I was talking about yesterday. I forgot the horse's name in this, the red one. I'm fairly sure she had 4 white socks, but in this she was a gnarly horse. She was a gnarly horse. So I read that last year for my, I think I only did 3 books in January or something. That was one of them. So I was going to read 3 books this month and I've not even finished the first one. So I did pick short books. So it was quite nice to read that again. But she was like an animal. She was an animal, I'm going to say activist, and wanted people to see horses in a more humane way. That's in the beginning somewhere. And I've got a feeling she lived in Catton as well. She's got a place, is it Catton? Somewhere local. So I think she was born in Yarmouth and then lived out, I think it was Catton. Interesting. So I've often said, because I do like Yarmouth, I have to go on a bus. But that's the other thing I said, it's like, what's it cost? I don't know. I think you can get an all-day traveller ticket for something like, it was like £4.50 or something like, it was under a tenner anyway, for the bus that you can use all day, all round the county. Literally, you can just hop on and off buses all day long for that much money. So, I said the other year, because I went about 3 or 4 times one week, just back and forth on the bus to Yarko, and then just like lay on the beach. The beach in Yarmouth is amazing, honestly, it's so nice. Come to bed. It's even getting B&B, isn't it? Yes, it is. And if you forget anything, it's like, oh, do you know what? I'll just pick it up. No, that was great. So good. Do you know what? It was so good. What was the saying before that? I just think they need to go around it with a pressure washer. Seriously. There must be someone down that end with a garage and just give the buildings a bit of a blitz over. It doesn't even look that bad. I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's nice, but I just think it could be jollied up a bit. I do love it. I love it. I actually love it. And there's we done a karaoke one night. I ended up missing the bus back. Honestly, it was like trauma. Buses come back like 11:30. Like I think the last one back. Honestly, it's so good, and they run every hour or half an hour or something. It's like flipping heck. And they're decent buses as well. Like you feel like the ones I was on they were like tour buses. Honestly, you can have as much fun as you want, really. Read on the bus, peer out the window, all the birds on the fence. It's like loads of hawks and jazz to peer out the windows. Yabba to all the people that hop on the bus. It's like it is a right old. It's like hopping on a shower bang for I don't know, off to Clacton for the weekend. But I forgot what I was going to say again. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I always think, why isn't there a great old horse on a plinth as you go in? I think there should be, really, for Black Beauty. Probably no one even knows what Black Beauty is. Maybe they don't want to be associated with it anymore. Maybe because it's black. It seems a racial slur. People don't know, do they? Everything's gone crazy. That's what I think. All I wanted to say, really. I wanted to read that because I found that really interesting when I picked up that book. And if I hadn't have picked up that book, I'd never have known that it was printed. Not only was she like a local lass, but it was printed by Gerald's. I know, how about that? Do people still read this book? I think they should do. I think they all should do. I don't know, people probably read it now and think it makes no sense. It's like when I read Shakespeare, it's like, what the hell is this? I don't even understand these words. It's a complete, what is it? What is this? I don't know. Shaking of the spear. The pen is the spear, isn't it? Kids used to say it's brown. It's brown like Paddington Bear. Like they hate Paddington Bear because he was brown and old. For fuck's sake. What do you want? Go-go's. Then you. Paddington Bear's brown. That's what they say. So this is brown. That's how brown comes into everything. It's brown. That's how they describe it. That's what you have with fucking autistic children. Well, any sort of children, really. Like, weird descriptions. That man's like a horse.